so excited to host this, co-host this event. It's great. They've been wonderful to work with. So how many people have heard about Jane before or know about it? Oh, awesome. Okay, so for the few that don't, we are a daily deal site. So we carry everything from home decor, like this rug is from Jane, like pillowcases, clothing, women's apparel is kind of our bread and butter. And then we have men's and baby, kids, basically everything. So all of our deals are live for 3 days and then or until sold out. So it's really fun, and we have an incredible space. So if you guys want a tour or want to learn more about Jane, feel free to come by to any of us Janesters. So myself, Heidi, Kelly, or Sydney, we're just in the back. So yeah, we're so excited to have you again and with this incredible panel. So thank you all for participating and coming. Thanks.
Kassidi, you want to come up? So Kassidi is actually pretty new to Braid. She joined me as co-founder in August. And a little bit about Kassidi, because all of our panelists will have a little time to introduce themselves. I'm going to introduce Kassidi really fast. Kassidi is like my other half in our business, and she's amazing. Have you guys ever heard of Dev Mountain, the clothing store? Kassidi was the financial controller there, and essentially another co-founder, because her husband's a co-founder of Dev Mountain, and she took them from day one to like their over $20 million acquisition a couple years ago. So she's super smart, and is going to be leading us through this panel today. Thanks. I hope this works. Does it work? I think, yeah. Okay, great.
Thank you so much, Allison. This one's for the panel. You can hit the power if you want to pass it without sound. Green means you're good to go. Just so you know.
What am I going to say?
Yeah, so let's start with intros and just have everyone do a short intro, just kind of who you are, what your business, what you work on, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Hi, I am Ashley Reeves. My social media following and everything is under Ashley's Fresh Fix. I am a food blogger, kind of, but more recently I've launched an app this year. I work with a lot of different companies doing influencer work, and I do branding work, and I just kind of am a conglomerate of a lot of different things, but yeah.
I'm Viven Bohme. I co-founded Bohme with my sister. We've been doing it for 11 years. And what do?
Yeah, tell us all the big
Sometimes I do construction, sometimes I clean toilets, sometimes I coach the peeps, sometimes I visit stores, sometimes I design the stores. I don't know, I do a whole lot, just the whole gamut. Yeah, but I love food.
And I love your store. So. I'm Jenny, owner of Taylor Joelle Designs. We are a children's clothing company, mainly kind of twirly tutu dresses. Local, I'm small business, work from home and have a fulfillment center and use all sorts of nice, easy, robotic Shopify apps to help me be on my own. So it's a lot of fun, and yeah, that's me.
Hey guys, before it expires, I need everyone to go to Ashley's Fresh Fix and watch the video of her car, because there's a cheeseburger in it, and it's probably the greatest thing I've ever seen on the internet. So that's the most important thing I need to talk about tonight. So I'm Amy. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called June in January. We're an e-commerce company that's been predominantly in the kids space for the last 7 years, but we are actually launching a mom's wear line in like 13 days, which is crazy. It's craziness. And yeah, my team is all in Texas, and I'm the only one out here, and I'm actually moving out there soon, so this is my last rodeo here in Utah, but it's been good to me the last couple of years. Yeah. Everyone knows Rach, so it's fine. Everyone knows it.
I'm Rachel. I own Rags to Riches. I was in Ratchets, but it's really Riches. And we're actually just Rags, so we're trying to kind of transfer to that's just easier. I do baby. Sort of like Amy here, we do baby clothing, and our hero product is a one-piece romper with elastic neckline. It's easy to get on and off your toddler. Yeah, and we've been in business for 4.5 years, and it's become my life. I don't know what I do. I do the same. I clean the bathroom, and I run a business, and I'm home.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the intros, and thanks for being here. So tonight we're going to cover topics on kind of e-commerce business questions, and then also how to collaborate, how you guys collaborate with influencers, how influencers collaborate with brands, and questions around that. So I want to start out with some e-commerce questions. What are some of the best systems you use to manage inventory and sales? I know we already talked about Shopify, but you'll probably talk more about that, but more about inventory and kind of how you manage all that.
I'm like the worst person to answer this question because genuinely I have no idea. Inventory is really tricky. We have tried several different things and we've come down to there's nothing that's perfect, but we're trying to figure out a perfect enough system. And right now we have a 3PL that tracks our inventory for us, but it's not good enough. So I don't know what you guys are using, but I'm gonna hand off the mic because I don't know where that's.
We also have a 3PL that's here in Salt Lake. You drive, right? So we have a 3PL also in Salt Lake. Where is this on?
Can I ask you to explain what a 3PL is?
Third-party logistics. So third-party logistic distribution facility. So it's just like a vendor that we use to ship all of our stuff.
They hold all of our.
They hold it all. So we shipped like 550,000.
Actually.
We shipped a lot of stuff last year, and we have 4,300 SKUs, and it's just a logistical nightmare. Like, we don't try to understand it, we let them handle it. It's all in their software, in their system. It syncs up to our Shopify, so it takes the pressure off us. But in terms of managing, like when you're sold out of things, when you have that many SKUs, it's honestly just a nightmare. Like, it's a nightmare. You just kind of cross your fingers and hope that it's not always a nightmare.
Any tips and tricks you've learned along the way to try to make it not such craziness?
Google Docs. I mean, there's really like
Okay.
I mean, you and I have had this conversation where it's just
archaic, but that's like what we do too, Excel.
yeah, it's I mean, honestly, just spreadsheets has been helpful for us, but she knows what's up. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I have the word problem because my inventory is spread out in 5 or 6 different states.
Yeah.
And it's in stores. And inventory is a ticking time bomb. It hits your warehouse, it's like, it's gotta be sold because every day it becomes older, every day it becomes less desirable. I have spent over $500,000, way over that, trying to fix it. And the amount of incompetence out there in the IT world is, I should have been in IT. I don't know why I'm in retail. But here's what it is, weeks on hand. And it's, you cannot deviate from markdowns. It kills you, right? Because you negotiated that quarter off to get a better deal. And now you're giving it to your customer at cost. And sometimes they don't even think it's good enough. It's painful. Do not overbuy. You better have an open to buy system. You gotta do your math. Google Docs is the way to go. My team hates it. They're like, why don't we Excel? Because you can do it out of your phone and you can do it fast and you can do it for free, right?
And it's collaborative, so anything you change, your team sees like right away, which is helpful.
And I'm sure there's like Googleable things, guys. I don't mind if you email me on this because it is a pain in the, it's bad, right? We all shake. I don't use the 3PL. I do it myself because I'm in fast fashion. Every day my warehouse gets new stuff, and every day I sell out of stuff. And every day, I mean, we'll buy stuff. Sometimes we run out. We'll buy it on Monday. By Friday, it's a fashion place. By Monday, it might be sold out. So it's a fast machine. There's no other way. There is an app out there, not cheap, called Stitch Labs. Have you guys heard? If you're an e-commerce only, that seems kind of like a cool thing. It's a couple $1,000s though. Because I fulfill, I can walk my aisles and go, fashion place sold out of that, put it over there. I don't know, but it's Google Docs for us. And weeks on hands. You do not, like, do you guys have a number you go off? Like if you stay with it like for 3 months, it's like, get it out? 3 weeks.
8 weeks.
8 weeks. What?
6 to 8.
8.
That's industry standard. So if you have it on you for more than 8 weeks, mark it down. Mark it down. Yeah.
Underbuy. I like that. Yeah. Underbuy.
That's how when I do.
Every time we don't do it, it's like, Fernanda, That's my sister, she buys. You know where that money is that should have been in the bank account? Right there. And you don't make extra. You just stole from yourself. Yeah.
Thank you. Another question kind of around e-commerce is, how do you determine your product pricing? Is there a software you use for that, or are you always just doing like a percentage markup of what you get it for cost?
With me, I typically like to do 3 times what I pay, but really, I could get something super cheap or more. So I look at my competitors and I price it around where my competitors are.
So we used to have a formula, and it kind of became useless as we kind of faced other bigger brands kind of coming to the space. With the Basics collection, we kind of had to readjust our pricing. So we used to have a formula we used, but now we've just kind of looked at what our customers' response is like, really just sort of customer behavior, and realized like, okay, we needed to change this a little bit. Since we don't do any wholesale or direct to consumer, we are able to kind of, we have a lot of margin, so we're fine. But I think there's a good formula if you're going to do wholesale, but I don't. Competitors is honestly, that's kind of when you're in the e-commerce space, especially and you're running digital ads against your competitors, you really have to be responsive to what they're doing, especially if you're a small guy. You've got to really be competitive. So whatever works, honestly.
Our pricing's tricky. That's always like a tricky question because we're considered like a more premium brand. So like we sell stuff for $45 to $50, like one outfit or a baby. So that's like a really big hurdle, especially on digital. Like getting people to buy is the hardest because of price, but you don't want to lower your price too much because that can water down your brand. In our case, and so my philosophy is always, and we're direct to consumer too, so we don't really have to worry about wholesale. And some products we have way better margin in than the others. I think rule of thumb, we're trying to stick around like 70% margin, but some stuff is 50 and even as low as like a 40% margin, which is not good. But the way we built the business is like I started selling rags at $20 and they were literally as painful how fast they were selling. And so I just inched my price up to where it was comfortable enough, where we were still selling out, but it wasn't like completely deterring the customer. And so like when we launch new products, and this drives my team crazy and like financial guy crazy, number guy crazy, I always like to go a little bit on the lower end just to get the product in the customer's hands, because I feel like that's like a really great marketing. Like get it at least in their hands and we can sell out of it. And if the demand's so high, we can raise our price by $3 or $4 the next time and nobody will even flinch, So I always try to, like my thought is it's a lot, like for brand, and if you're trying to protect the brand, it's a lot better for me to be able to raise my price incrementally rather than start really high and I shoot myself in the foot.
And then start doing discounts. Because then it seems like your company's always running discounts, and then people are just waiting for you to just run a discount, because then they'll just get it cheaper.
That depends.
Okay, yes, I'd love to hear this. I'm not in business.
Okay, so we started, all right, going through the history, right? 2007, the hot brands were Abercrombie & Fitch and BB. We almost became an Abercrombie & Fitch, believe it or not. And the price points, I got away with selling stuff at $75, which today I couldn't do more than $28.
Yeah.
And denim was at a premium. And so things will come and go. It's very cyclical. Like right now, you're about to stop buying dresses because your closet's full of them. You're about to buy skirts and tops. And I forecasted that 2 years ago because it's cyclical. So today, we don't have premium denim to hold our price points. We don't have the notion of premium anymore. That went away thanks to fast fashion. And so your pricing, it depends on the customer you're trying to attract. It depends how fast you want to grow, and it depends which markets you're going for. Are you going for the Utah market, or are you going for the Brooklyn market? Yeah. So the price points, we have played so many times over the years, and competitors, very true. However, I ran my tests. I'm not a good designer, I'm a good mathematician. We would sit there at university, kitty corner from store X, I won't say the name. And I had denim, this is back in 2010. I had denim $20 more expensive. I had, my prices were just overall higher. I take care of my employees. I refuse to grow on top of my employees. We have great benefits there at Bohme. I did double the sales as that competitor. They're still flailing. I don't know how many times people have underpriced themselves, and it's like, shoot, now I have to pay employees. Shoot, I have to pay a 3PL. Shoot, oh, I didn't price that into it. So the 3, the 2.8, the 70, that we try to do that, that never happens. We're more 60. We're a little lower because of our volume. But let me tell you a model that's always in discounting, but nobody knows. Anthropology. Raise your hand if you bought something full price of it from Anthropology. That's not a candle or a giftie. Raise your hand if you bought something in their sale in the back, right? There's a little room. There you go. And they built that into their pricing. So they have this premium face to the world. I'm Anthropology, I'm cool, look at my designs. But really, they're selling their stuff out of their 30% off. But their brand is so amazing that they tricked you. What most people do, Nordstrom, Buckle, you name it, they'll have their premium brands that they take the 40-50%, but they stuff it with all these cheap basics so that you have a margin, so it's balanced. Does that make sense? You have your high margins, you have your low margins. We do a little bit of that at Bohme, but try to go premium as much as you can. The low growth, the cheap price to grow is so tempting. We did it. We sold denim. Remember the bling? That's what we built our name on. And around June 13th at noon, June 13th, 2013, at noon, the world decided that was done. And we died with it. And that's a problem. When you hit those cheap price points, you're also hitting cheap things. You're gonna get hurt. And that was the lesson I learned. If there's anything I can impart with you tonight, go as premium with your brand as you possibly can.
Thank you so much. It seems like a lot of product companies are focusing their marketing right now on Instagram. And so what percentage of your personal sales, and I know this will be a little different for Viven, she has in like actual storefronts, but even getting people to those storefronts, how much of your sales do you feel like really comes from pushing Instagram and or Facebook?
Okay, I'm gonna hand mine because they're gonna actually have really cool stories. I don't think I will. Okay, this is Stephanie, by the way. Raise your hand. She's social media. She actually knows a lot more than me. You guys need to talk to her. I'll make her available too free of charge. My e-commerce runs off Instagram. I'm going to say, because we have high, say 80, 60, 70% is because of Instagram. Instagram helped my stores. And if you guys are thinking of brick and mortar, do it. So much more profitable. Retail's not dead. And it helped my conversion by 4 or 5 points in the store. So to me, that's huge.
I don't run a store.
Okay, you're right. For mine, it's kind of interesting. I get most of my traffic, triple the traffic from Instagram as I do Facebook, and I get actually very little from Google. I need to work on my SEO, but I'm going to work on that. Anyway, triple the traffic from Instagram, but I was looking at my sales, and double my money comes from Facebook. So I have a funnel where I get them aware on Instagram. Influencers will post about it, they're aware, but they're not ready to buy. And then I run retargeting ads through Facebook, which will bring them back to their cart. So I think most people discover me on Instagram, but then I catch them on Facebook, and that's where I make double the money. Plus, the people who are on Facebook are usually on my group, and they are so loyal and will buy absolutely anything I put out there. So Instagram is awesome for awareness. Facebook is where my true loyal followers are, and also where I can easily retarget them using ads.
Is that because it's easier to retarget on Facebook, or what is it that makes it so much more?
You know, I'm playing around with Instagram ads, but I so far haven't dove into it like I do on Facebook. It's really kind of on autopilot for me on Facebook, where I'm just always like, if it's in their cart, they're going to see it on Facebook. So I'm not sure how that all works, but I think the awareness comes from Instagram for sure. Huh?
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So is the awareness from influencers that have your product, or are you running ads and then from there retargeting?
I rarely run ads on Instagram, but I have heard, I'm like a podcast junkie and I listen to so many e-commerce Shopify podcasts, and I'm hearing people get amazing return on investment and cheap ads for stories. So I've never run an Instagram story. I don't know if you guys have, but I want to. So I've heard awesome things about that. I'm just not a marketing ad expert. I'm trying to be. So I very well could produce just as much, great ad, but I haven't played with Instagram. Facebook, it's really easy because I just have things set up automatically without me having to do anything.
Do Instagram now.
I will do Instagram now. And I'm going to start with, if you see story ads on Instagram, you'll know I'm going to practice what I'm trying to do.
So very similar, we get a lot of our top of the funnel comes from Instagram, a lot of brand awareness comes from there, and then we run most of our retargeting on Facebook. So we get, I think it's like 76% of our traffic comes from Instagram, but a majority of our sales are actually coming from Facebook. So again, the retargeting. I think that is actually the reason, this is a total BS theory, but I think it's just like an intuitive way to shop, less so on Instagram. Like I don't browse Instagram and be like, what am I, I'm gonna click on an ad in the same sort of way that I do on Facebook, and that's just sort of the response that we've seen. Instagram stories ads for us are not good, not good at all. Facebook, and what's odd is Facebook desktop, which I never would have thought is actually our number one performing, especially for retargeting. So I think it's,
I get your ads all the time.
I think a lot of it is just, I think a lot of it is just customer behavior stuff. Where are you in that moment when you're willing to, open your wallet kind of thing. But yeah, Instagram is how I built the company, and it continues to be a very big part of how we run the business. Not so much influencers, but really referrals, people tagging their stuff and their friends seeing it, and it becomes, so we use a referral program called Loyalty Line, which is amazing if you have Shopify. It's a little pricey, but it's fantastic. It's a really great perks program. Your friends, you can refer a friend and they'll get points that they can then redeem for stuff, and there's all kinds of great plugins for it, but referrals are really big for us as well. So I think that's also part of Instagram, that people are seeing their friends, they get that FOMO vibe, and a couple years ago, it was like the heyday of like having something that was Instagrammable, which has changed a lot, but the heyday of Instagram.
Amy, can I ask you one follow-up question? So is Instagram getting better in the fact of like, now there's boutiques where you can just one click and purchase versus, or like commenting like sold and they have all your information and stuff like that. Is that getting better as far as conversions to sales, or is it still like pretty gimmicky?
So we don't use that one. So we've tried the shoppable Instagram, also trash in my opinion. It does not work. It's garbage. It's like useless. Facebook is so much more. I think they have just better audiences. There's better custom audiences there. You can really see what's going on. And like I know Ashley's been mad about it as well, but you can't boost your own audience on Instagram. So we do a lot of boosting on Instagram, just get people in the top of the funnel, promote the brand awareness, and then they come back via Facebook. Conversions come from Facebook or somewhere else. But I think you can be smart about the way you use Instagram, but I definitely wouldn't say that's where you should put all your eggs in your basket anymore, whereas like 3 years ago it would have been like Instagram, Pinterest, and Instagram. Pinterest is dead. And,
I don't feel like
Instagram is just, I think if you use Instagram as a tool for brand awareness, it can be really successful, but I wouldn't expect to be making sales off of it anymore, like at least not a majority of meaningful revenue.
Interesting.
But it's important enough because it's bringing people
Right, it's part of your funnel.
awareness.
Yeah.
So ours is the exact same, actually, except for stories kills it for us.
Oh, okay, I am gonna try to.
And I think it's a lot just like the swipe ups.
Yeah.
Those, like, we'll do those and make.
Do you put a discount in your stories? No?
We'll do, inventory management when I get on the website and see that we have like a few extra in certain styles. Like,
do that, yeah.
we've been able to generate like a.
Are you running ads, like stories ads, or just you mean like
We'll
brand
do
stories?
ads too and they do really well. So delve back into stories. We'll do that. But
Yeah, I want to hear how you do those
I
ads.
think those have been really successful. I also like struggle with the digital side because I feel like that it's like Facebook attributes everything to Facebook, So I think Instagram is like our #1 tool. Without Instagram, because Facebook we're not getting a ton of interaction, but we're showing more conversions through there.
Yeah, it's like you build the friendship on Instagram, then they'll buy through Facebook.
Yeah, it's
Forever.
really odd. But stories have been like crazy. And then I've also heard, and I want to test this, is Facebook Messenger ads.
Yes, who uses that? Zulily. Also, Zulily does a really great customer experience through Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, I've heard it's insane.
Yeah, I've ordered some stuff and they like message you, or like if you want to do a return, you do it through Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
And I've done it through their system, and it actually was really great experience.
Yeah, so we're gonna test Messenger.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. One thing, along with social media, we talk about Instagram, you're creating a funnel, you're going to Facebook, but with Instagram, to help build that awareness, what seems to be most effective? Amy, you talked about a referral program, but there's also giveaways, working with influencers, and flash sales. So what do you feel like kind of helps, one, build awareness, but also maybe helps with that conversion? You talked about stories, but is there anything else like the sales or giveaways that really help build that Instagram experience?
I don't love giveaways, to be honest. I think there was a moment there where like it was like very consistent that we were doing giveaways just because it was boosting our following. But I'm more a fan of quality over quantity, to be honest. Like I want people that are following our brand to actually be people that want to buy it and not win something free. So giveaways are good, but I feel like it just depends on who you're partnering with, and there's like a lot of different factors there. What's been like game changing for us is we've done a Facebook like subgroup with just like all of our, we call them our VIPs, where all of our customers are there, and they have like really helped just kind of, they're like our love group, and they have been so good just organically reaching out to friends, and we can utilize that group to help drive more customers in.
Do you give perks to that group, or is it just the fact that they're a part of this group that's what's special?
Yeah, we'll give them perks. We don't really go on sale that often, but like if we're ever gonna launch a new product, whatever, they're gonna be the first to know. Or every once in a while, we'll let them have like first dibs, so they can hit the website 10 minutes before everybody else. And then influencer is really big for us. We stopped doing influencer for a while, and that was just mainly manpower. And we saw it kind of like plateau a little bit in growth of your Instagram and growth of your Facebook and sales, everything. So for us, it's so worth seeding product out to influencers still and working with them because it's just a lot more authentic. And I also feel like we're dealing with algorithms now that you're having to pay to play. And through influencer, it just feels like those are getting more views and they're getting more comments and more likes, so just a lot more interaction. Yeah.
Are you targeting paid influencers, or are you sending product out and just asking people to tag, or what's your strategy for that?
I feel like we're a little bit unique. We haven't paid influencers. We haven't gone down that road yet. I don't know how I feel about it. Although I never want anybody to work for free. So anybody that we've worked with in the past, it's always something where we try to create a win for them and they can help create a win for us. It just depends on who the influencer is. You know, there's different levels, like the micro influencer, or there's an influencer that has just really great content and we want their UGC. There's another influencer that has like a crazy engaged following. So we'll ask each of those types just different things. You know, so the one with great content but maybe not a massive following, we'll ask for images. We always tag them too. So for me, if I was on the other side and I was just getting started and I had great content, I would do something like that all day because it helps me too, you know? So,
so just talking about influencers, because we're on that topic. So we, in the past, have always kind of done we're going to see your product and you're going to post about it, and that's great. But we just, and that's been very successful for us the last few years. But we just got onto an affiliate program. It's called Impact, which is like, it's like already like amazing. Impact. And so it links into reward style. I think Ashley, did you just sign up for it? I'm so excited. So it sends out, it's awesome. So you pay commission-based sales to your influencers, which we've done mostly in the past. Always just people have in trade, you know, you send them stuff, they post about it, and then we've kind of gotten to a point where it's like most influencers don't want to work for free anymore, which totally get it. And we've paid out people, we've paid people that have it flop and be not successful. So this was a new sort of option for us. And I think when they're getting commission-based sales, it's just, completely different. We've only been on it for like 2 weeks and it's already been, I think we've gotten like 350 new customers from it. And so we can tier the commission based on if you're bringing us a first-time customer, if they're a returning customer, all kinds of different, we can tier different influencers at different rates, plugs in with all kinds of publishers and websites and all kinds of stuff. So it's really cool.
App in your Shopify?
30 days. Just to keep engagement up, just to keep people aware of what's going on. They're paying attention to us. They're dialed in, especially since we have a lot of new collection coming out, all that kind of stuff. So that's been something that's really successful for us. Less so than the I'm going to do a giveaway with your brand and this other brand and all that stuff. Just really focused on us, and it's cheap too because we're just giving away one thing at cost. So it's like a $3 giveaway for us. So that's just another way to kind of do it, to keep your audience engaged, and that way we're getting 200, 300, 400 comments on a post, which is kind of rare these days. So that's been something that's kept our engagement really up and high. I know that's also something Ashley does a lot, getting people to just go from stories, because I think stories has kind of taken over a lot of where people are paying attention. So getting them from stories back over to your feed has been a struggle that took us kind of a while to figure out how to kind of dominate again, but that has been really, really successful for us.
I have not had recent success after the new algorithm with teaming up with giveaways for other brands. Some people do, and I'm like, we do a little loop, and I'm like, wait, why do they have 1,000 likes and I'm still at 200? Instagram hates when I type the word giveaway, I think. But I do see more success when I do a giveaway just by myself and for my own followers. So I do see success with that. Influencers, I want to try that. That sounds really cool. I've been hesitant to ask influencers if they're open for commission. So that's neat. I have never paid an influencer. I think it would be awesome, but that's just something I don't have the budget for right now, or I don't want to take the risk. But we seed every launch maybe about 30 dresses and hope. I'm very lax. I don't keep track. I just say, hey, can I send you a dress? Awesome. And fingers crossed they post. If they don't, oh well. And then I'll pay attention to the ones where I'm like, oh, hey, when they posted, I got a lot of sales. And then, so I have no technical way of tracking that. I'm very lax. Probably mine isn't the greatest model. I just send them to people. The things I look for with influencers, though, are they could have 1 million followers and really ugly, unedited, not that anyone's ugly, but their photos are unedited, dark. I don't, I want it to be my aesthetic, and I love engagement. So because as a brand, I have less engagement than an influencer. I think because I'm a business account, I'm a little bit, Instagram wants me to pay to get all the likes and the comments. And so it's really helpful to be able to send it to influencers who aren't being as punished as I am being a business account, where they're getting a lot more views. And so I take the risk knowing, hey, I'm not paying influencers, but I'm gonna send out maybe 30 dresses each time and maybe only get 10 or 15 good posts out of it. But that's been worth it to me.
Ooh, I'm bad. So you guys are at an advantage because you can claim for me and a small business, help me out. I can't do that. So I have to pay. Have we ever been able to get a free influencer? If they were super, the actress. Okay. Yeah. People who really love us, and all of a sudden we'll tag us, we're like, whoa, that person has 500,000 followers, we'll send, but that's rare. We're now paying 2,000 because my strategy is,
2,000
all right,
for a post or 2,000 a budget?
one post. And we're trying now micro-influencers and those with quite a bit, because my vision, hope, and dream is that Bohme doesn't want to be a Utah company. Bohme doesn't want to be in Idaho or Montana, South Dakota, or whatever company. I want to go after Brooklyn, and I want to go after Seattle and San Fran, and so it's a different play. And also, I think it depends on your customer, right? The customer that's looking for fashion is different than a baby. It's influencers might not be getting sent so much kid stuff as they are fashion stuff. They might be getting just over anyway. And so I don't get to play that card anymore. I'm paying. One thing that we use is Refluence. I don't know if you guys have. So it will kind of tell you what's the engagement. Okay, something disgusting that we found. Asian influencers, most of the followers are men. Kind of icky, right? There's little things we found as we think about it. And so we have to like dig in and go, what's the engagement? Who's following? What's the quality of followership? Did they buy? Okay, or like did they buy their followers, right? And are they buying their engagement? You have to be very careful with that before you start sending things out. But if I were in your shoe, I'd stalk that influencer. Like, know what that middle initial stands for. Do whatever it takes, and then you send them a handwritten note that is much more meaningful, because they're getting sent stuff all day long. You're not, I mean, look at this room. That's how much stuff they could potentially be getting. I had again, Christine, right, from HelloFresh. Her old assistant's now or receptionist. And for Christmas, Haley, sweet girl, gets sick, like tons of stuff. She gets more stuff for Christmas from this block from Christine. That's her leftovers of stuff she got sent that she doesn't use. Like, I get it, she's a huge blogger, you can imagine. So you have to cut through that clutter, make it super personal.
Thank you. Okay, Ashley, we want to hear from you and all the things. So I have like several questions, and we're going to just talk about the opposite side of this, of being an influencer, working with a brand. So how do you determine what brands you will work with? And before, I guess now you're doing impact, so maybe you can have a thought on that too.
I'll just say, so I do work pretty much full time as an influencer, and I help promote other companies. I've done it both ways, and I think there's pros and cons. I've been paid flat rates. I do charge a lot because there is a lot of need for it. I do have a totally authentic audience that is really engaged. And for a long time I was kind of anti doing any affiliate stuff, because I'm like, well, you're still putting in the work, and it's not your fault if they don't end up buying the product or whatever. But I've really had a change of opinion in the last year. And it's actually been more profitable to be an affiliate than take my flat rates, which are actually pretty high. And I can earn a lot more as an affiliate. That's one thing that I think has been awesome, as you have a lot of people buying fake followings, engagement, things like that, is you actually can really shake out that stuff with an affiliate program. And so I feel like I've been able to almost get like a reputation as being a really effective influencer. Because I may not have, there's people with followings that are a lot bigger than me, but I'm selling a lot more than they are. Yes.
What affiliate programs are you working with? Are there
Okay, I'll tell you like my tops. So I work with Freshly Picked affiliate, they're fabulous. I work for Loopy Cases, these phone cases. If you follow me, I talk about them every month. I love them. I work for, I did just sign up for, I have so many actually. I feel like I should.
There's not like Refluence for.
I do a little bit of Refluence, but if I go through Refluence, I usually am paid for the product. If I'm doing an affiliate, it's a direct to consumer. Shine Cosmetics is one that I work for and do a lot of promoting for. They do a really generous cut. I work for Bath Pack, which is like a hair and bath company. I probably have 20 that I'm working for.
Actually, do you have to sign up for different platforms? So like Reward Style and then Impact and then all these different, do you have to set up like a through everybody?
Yeah.
So there's not a base for just you to be like.
Yeah, there's not a base where they're all connected. I've noticed a lot of people are navigating to Lead Dino. That seems to be a site that a lot of the people that I'm working with are using to manage influencer relationships. But most people have their own affiliate thing going on. And so there's some things that I think, what you said, I really appreciate how she said, I just throw it out and I don't keep track and I don't have expectations. You get to the point where, and it sounds like such a first world problem, you're getting so much free stuff it starts to feel rude. You're like, how dare they send me more things? It just feels like a massive pile of expectations. You feel like you can't make them happy. And so if I got something, and then when they follow up with like, hey, I sent you this, I haven't seen you post about it, and it's like, well, I visit an account, I would be promoting stuff every hour of the day. But if you can approach it like this and be generous and be like, maybe it'll show up, maybe it won't, and be respectful of like, hey, this might be something that works, and it might not. That's the perfect way to approach it. Unless you are paying, you can't have the expectation that you're going to get this huge result. So I think that's a really good way to put it if you're not ready to front pass in.
So what would a good approach be for, so like we're launching this new product, if we were to send you something that, you know, we actually followed you and it's a handwritten note, if we wanted to do something like an affiliate link, what would be an effective way to reach out to you as somebody who's starting up so we couldn't offer something off the table, but we could offer a product. If you like it, we want to do an affiliate kind of thing. How would it be the most accepted by an influencer that's not off-putting or not asking for too much or?
So the product really comes into play with this, which is sort of not fair. I think sometimes depending on what your product, what is your product?
It's an airplane tray table toy for kids.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Okay, so for instance, like a granola bar company reached out to me and wanted to do an affiliate, and I just was like, there's no way I can sell enough granola bars to make it worth it. No one is going to buy a granola bar on Instagram. And those are the companies where I want to be paid a flat rate because I'm creating good content that they could use on their marketing ends, and I'm helping much more with awareness than granola bars. I'm not going to sell granola bars. So if it's like a lifestyle product or something that I know, when you talk about how do you know which ones to take, I'm really careful to make sure I know that my audience would respond to the product. I don't want to waste people's money. I want to maintain a good reputation. But what I would do is I would reach out to the influencer, be very generous with your product if you cannot give money. Like June and January, they were like, whatever you want, take anything you want off the site. Like take whatever you want. Like they aren't, and if it's, I mean, it depends on your product if you're able to do that. But I had someone say, hey, we'll do this and we'll send you a lip gloss. You can pick anyone you want. And it's like, okay. So like that, I mean, and they mean well, and you just feel bad because like being like getting angry about it, but I don't get angry, but you know what I mean? You kind of want to just like be a little snarky back to them, but if you're generous with what you have, that means so much to an influencer. And if you say, hey, I don't have the money to necessarily pay up front, but I would love to give you anything you want, like full selection, whatever, and then I would love to give you a generous portion, like I take, for most of the affiliates I work with that aren't paying up front, I take like 25 to 30% of sales, which is kind of high. But
do you offer a discount on
yeah.
top of that? So they're like,
so they're getting
they
a
would be
discount.
doing like 60% off.
The coupons are or the discounts are about 10%. They're usually not a huge
and that
amount.
moves the needle enough. Like
Yeah.
10% is medium.
Yeah, if it's any little bit, if I ever post about any company without a coupon code, I get tons of messages like, where's the discount? That's just the way people are, you know? But I usually can negotiate a higher rate of percentage because I feel like I am, like the more you learn about how your audience works, I feel like I am pretty effective at what I do. But there's some companies that I've taken like 10% because it's a higher priced item, so I'm still able to like net
So
like.
you're flexible on it.
Yeah, totally. If it's like a higher price item and I feel like I can make a certain amount, like in general, I like to make $50 a sale, depending on how it is. Like it just kind of depends on the product. There's such a variety that you could do. So
you need to tell them because it's important for your like number wise, like when you sold the migraine thing, like how many sales you're bringing to the company because you're not. They should know. Don't you
okay,
think?
so success stories. I don't know.
I'm not her assistant, by the way, but I just think it's important.
No, just to show you like the power of a influencer who doesn't have it. I mean, I have a large following, but I know lots of people have way bigger followings than me. I have under 90,000 followers, and there's people with way more. But I did post like there was this company and they didn't have the funds to pay me up front, but it was this really cool tool that helped with migraines. And I was like, this is going to be so random. I don't know if it'll go, but I thought it was the most awesome thing ever. And so they wanted me to post about their Kickstarter, and I got them like $40,000 in Kickstarter funds in a day. And so it was cool, and then you better believe they come back super generous, and now they pay me all sorts of money to talk about them because it helps me with the needle. So, and that was like a way more, like they're not all like that, but if you find an influencer who has a real following, who is engaged, don't always just look at the numbers, because honestly, I don't think my feed is that impressive to a lot of companies. Mine's very reputation based. Almost any company that approaches me has heard about me from another company. And that's where I think these kind of events are really helpful to network with people, like you talking to someone unique here, like who's an influencer you've worked with that's been really effective, and reaching out, just kind of connecting through that. I think it's really helpful.
But brands also talk to other brands and
Yes.
affiliate, and they'll tell you too, like, oh,
Yeah.
so-and-so did this for us, and they crushed it. And usually I'll be surprised, like, really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think those conversations are really important to have, so, yeah.
So it's kind of like you need the brand and the brand needs you.
Yeah.
So who is the one kind of schmoozing the other? Does that make sense? Like, do you expect brands to be like, how generous are they supposed to be? Are they supposed to be really schmoozing you? But it's because at the same time, it's kind of like you want to be able to work with them as well. Does that make sense?
I've done plenty of approaching myself too, though.
Okay.
Like if there's a company that I really want to work with and that I feel like would be really fun, or if I think the product's awesome, or if I want to be involved somehow, I schmooze. I'm not above schmoozing.
Yeah, no, I'm
It's
just
just like all about the
curious on like
relationships, you know?
the line of that,
Yeah.
and like how, when you do and when you don't.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
If it's something that I'm interested in and like that I feel like I could be a good fit for, then I'll totally do that.
You talked about this on Instagram today, so I just want to get more thoughts behind the balance of posting ads versus just normal content, and how you do that without making your followers angry or frustrated or annoyed at what you're posting.
Yeah. So I actually did post about this, not even thinking about tonight, but I do a lot of sponsored stuff, and 2018 was like really heavy with it, and I have a lot of my own things that I want to do, and I just kind of felt like I was going to need to pull back from some sponsored work to make room for the other projects that I was working on. So it's funny, I just kind of made this like mental note, okay, like in 2019, I'm just going to take less, I'm going to raise my prices more, just like do whatever I can to just water it down a little bit, because I'm happy to do it, I love to do it, but I do talk about a lot of other people. So anyways, I posted on my stories that I actually asked for it. I said, what would you like more of, what would you like less of? And I had, probably 50 or so comments, like way less sponsored stuff, I'm tired of whatever. So 50 felt like a lot, and I was like, okay, note taken, whatever. So the next day I said, hey, this is my plan, I'm planning on backing it up. I was literally flooded with thousands of comments in the questions. Don't stop telling us we love the products you find, we love the products you're sharing. And so it's just so funny that I took the 50 people who were being negative about it so heavily, when I was like, no, people really do enjoy being introduced to new products. It's not that bad. And when you do it authentically, and when you are choosing products, when you're careful about the things you promote and not just slinging whoever will pay you, like it can actually be really beneficial to your following and to the companies and to me. And it's a huge blessing. Like while I've been working, I have this app that I've been pouring so much time and money into. It's incredibly expensive. It is a full-time job essentially that I'm doing, and I am not getting paid a dime for it right now, but I'm able to provide for my family really generously, make a really good living promoting other people's products, which is funny. So I'm very grateful for sponsorships, and I love the networking, and I love the relationships I've made. But yeah, so I think when you're trying to find a balance, just being aware of the number one reason people are following you is to find some kind of value. And you have to give, for everything you're asking, you have to give back tenfold. So if I'm asking you to buy a product, I'm going to be giving you, for my feed, I like to do a lot of body positivity posts, and I like to do lots of encouragement and self-love, and I like to talk about, I give recipes and whatever I can that's free. So it just feels like they're getting so much more than I'm asking. Yeah. And so I'm always just kind of keeping a mental checklist of that. In stories, stories are phenomenal. I can't imagine a business being successful right now without utilizing Instagram stories. With stories, I'm always just making sure, because for a while I was like, oh, stories is where you don't sell, and this is just where it's all the back scenes. I sell 4 times as much through stories than I do through a post now. So anyways, just really utilizing stories, and so I'm like, okay, people are hanging out in there, giving them a lot of stuff now that's not selling, like any little tips I can give them along the way, any like moments I can share, just anything, just so you're trying to balance it out.
Yeah, it's almost like you're becoming a top brand influencer. Does that make sense? Where you're saying, I'm taking less and I'm only doing things that are paying me a lot more. Yeah. And I'm doing fewer but bigger payments. Does that make sense?
Even more than necessarily being paid more, I only want to work with brands who I completely align with. I joke about this Jimmy Dean sausage contract I've taken the last 2 months. Just between us all, privately, it's been very difficult to work with. And I would so much rather be talking about local companies and friends and these relationships I've made. I love working with Freshly Picked. I love working with Loopy. I know the owners. I love that kind of business promotion. It's really exhausting to sometimes work with some of these big, huge companies with crazy asks on their contracts. And even though they have great budgets, it doesn't land with my audience as well. And so, you live and you learn. So it's not necessarily the money, but it's making sure your relationship stays solid.
Yeah. Just kind of asked a little bit earlier about how people reach out to you and that you actually want to work with them. Mm-hmm. If they have a chance of working with you, what is the best way? Is it email? Is it DM?
Never direct message.
Okay.
You just can't keep track. I actually turned off my direct messages because It gave me tendinitis. I legit had tendinitis.
I was just curious, completely lost my question because I was thinking about your tendinitis, so I'll come back to it. Sorry about that.
I think we're ready to kind of wrap up and open for the whole audience to ask questions now at this point. So let's start doing Q&A.
I remembered what it was.
Yes,
now.
yes.
I got you. Okay. So how do you figure out what it is that your audience engages with? How do you figure out what they respond to besides trial and error? Have you found another way to do that?
You know what is a really fun thing is the Insta Stories polls. I think they're a really quick, efficient way to pull your audience and see what's going on. The people who are watching your stories are your most engaged followers. You may have a massive social media following, but I think if you have I feel like most people have about 10 to 20% of their audience engaged heavily on their stories. Those people really are the ones that you care about their opinions because they're taking the time to take that extra time with you. So simple questions like, hey, you can ask the question box, which I think is awesome because it doesn't give you direct messages, but like, what do you like seeing here? What do you want to see more of? Sometimes I'll say, do you like this? Yes or no. Do you like this? Yes or no. Just like asking, that's a really quick way to do it without having to post something and seeing if it flops or does well. Because for a long time, that is how I would gauge, is seeing how posts would do. I noticed at the end of its closing 2018, and I know a lot of my friends are doing just Google surveys that they're asking people to swipe up and take like a little survey of how your audience is responding to what you've shared throughout the year, suggestions, things like that. But like your, minimum viable product or whatever, just do a little poll on your Instagram stories and see who responds and what they say.
Yes, questions.
So, one of your comments, Rachel, about brand quality and kind of establishing like a high-end product, we're debating right now whether we're direct sales, direct to consumer. We're trying to decide if we sell on Amazon and do an Instagram and Facebook kind of campaign, or if that cheapens our brand and we should stay just direct to consumer, you have to come through us, or if there are other outlets that could kind of help us. Kickstarter was one thing we were looking at, just to kind of get, as a newly fledgling company, to get recognition. So what do you think about like maintaining brand quality, but then also using these other avenues to kind of launch ourselves? Are we cheapening ourselves at the beginning by being available in so many different ways? What are your thoughts about that?
That's a great question. Definitely a good question. I think it depends on the product, to be honest. And it depends on what you're offering on Amazon. So for us, Amazon's a beast, and it's literally like everybody's shopping on Amazon. So like, I was actually in a panel similar to this one today with Traeger was one of the panelists. And they do a ton through Amazon, but we don't do Amazon just because our approach needs to be a little bit different because we're clothing, but they're like a, hard goods, they're a grill. And so it makes sense because people walk into Lowe's and the flow for their customer that I thought was interesting is they get on their phone and check to see if it's on Amazon, and usually they'll buy it on Amazon and not at Lowe's or not at Ace or whatever, So like, if your product is the little toy that you put on the airplane, whatever, I would say go Amazon just because that's where everybody's searching and you can compete. I know it's a different beast, and I actually heard that their affiliate program on Amazon is really, really awesome.
It is great. It's really
Yeah.
And you don't have to pay as
I've heard the affiliate program on Amazon is awesome. So our approach, if we ever went Amazon, was we would segment kind of like a basics line that would only be available on Amazon, so it doesn't compete with the higher end stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was going to tell you one more thing, but I would do Amazon all day. I know a lot of brands that have had success there.
Okay.
I think it's different nowadays too. I don't think it changes your brand as much, and it depends on the product.
Thank you.
If you're a true startup and you're like really starting from zero following, what do you guys recommend is the best way to boost right off the bat? Like, is it giveaways and influencers, or is it focusing on one thing, like just getting your funnel into Facebook, or all of what we've talked about? Does that make sense? Like a little bit of everything, or just focus on one thing?
I'll tell you what I did, but I don't know if it's the right way. So I focused, and it was really different when I started, like I wasn't having to deal with algorithms, and we didn't have to pay to play, and people were seeing all of my content, you know what I mean? So it was a lot different, but I figured out who I wanted to have my product, and I was willing to give away a lot of free stuff with zero asks. Like, you need to be able to, and it's hard for some people, just to be able to swallow that. And I was like at the time hand sewing them, and I have 3 kids, you know, so I was like up all night sewing and stuff. So it really felt like blood, sweat, and tears giving stuff away to people like that. But that's literally what launched our business, is just giving stuff away and word of mouth. Okay, I don't know what you guys would suggest.
Depends on how much cash you have. Because cash is key. We can talk about content, but if you don't have the cash, you don't have that, you know. And so if I were a small business today, here's what I would do. I'd get really good at knowing where will the puck be. We know where the puck is today, right? Like bricks, wooden floors and decor. We know where the puck is in food. We know where the puck is in fashion. Where will it be? Because those who can figure that out will have beautiful content. I mean, you'll be a little forward. And then all of a sudden, bam, this wave will come in and you'll ride it. Understand the design, because it's changing. Every 3 years it changes. For example, have you guys heard of Herbivore? That's cosmetic, right? The packaging, genius. We wouldn't have touched that in 2011. We probably won't touch it in 2024 either. And so you gotta understand, where are you gonna hit? Because when you have beautiful content on Instagram, beautiful, consistent, it will trump whatever we do here. Because all of a sudden, people like her, actually she's beyond. You're gonna take a while before you get to her. But the smaller, you know, the micro-influencers, they will want to hang with you. So when you're the cool kids wanna hang with you. And that, beyond anything we talked about, is, I think, will be over, you know, I don't know, cool kids.
I think there's so much power in like a micro-influencer. I call them baby bloggers because I think they're the cutest thing. They're like all these nice girls that are like coming up and whatever, but they are running with their own little tribes. Like they're building their own little communities, and I actually really enjoy following a lot of these people. I think they're fresh. I think people enjoy seeing new people and new faces, and they're hungry. They're girls who are like, I want to work with a company. I want to get sent something for free. And those people, like when you invest in those people from the very beginning, and they know that you care about their growth and you're helping them, I think that's really effective. And I think they're overlooked a lot. And I think people are just looking for people with big followings and big numbers. But there's a lot of value in people like, you know, I mean, I don't want to put an exact number on it, but maybe like 5,000-ish followers or lower. I think there's value because also they're not hit by algorithms. Someone with 5,000 followers might actually be seeing more views than someone with like 30,000 followers, you know? So I think they get overlooked.
So I have a question about, if we're a brand that has a product that's a pretty low price point, like in the $20 range, but your thoughts on working with influencers maybe? Because I mean, I understand that if you're offering an affiliate program and you have a $20 product, that isn't as appealing as a product that's, you know, 50 or higher. So what your thoughts are on a product that is in like a $20 price range?
You might want to consider like a base pay, like some kind of, you know, depending who you're working with, maybe some couple $100 base pay to have them start creating content. So like Libby, for instance, they do that for me because it's only a $35 phone case, but they give me a base pay plus a really generous commission. So I know there's something there even if I were to sell nothing. So it takes the risk away a little bit. So if you want to negotiate like half and half, there's always a lot of playing room. One thing I thought, which no one's even asked this, but I just thought I would throw this out there. One thing that I have accepted before as an influencer who does charge a lot, I've done work for free sometimes for social exchange. If there's a company or a brand that I see with a large following that is engaged, that is relevant to the kind of follower that I want to draw in, I've worked with brands like Traeger, actually is a really good example because I do a lot of recipe work. Traeger's never paid me a dime actually, and I don't like telling people that because I actually really prefer to be paid, but they have an awesome following that are like cult-like, and they're awesome. So Traeger doesn't pay me, but they're willing to team up on a giveaway every 6 months or so where they post it on their feed and I have it on mine, and I can pull a good amount of followers who are my ideal follower over. So there's a couple brands, that might be something you could consider leveraging. Maybe you have a massive following, maybe you don't, but maybe if you're teaming up with like an influencer and a company and you have like, similar followings, but the most important thing I think for giveaways is that it's relevant to your brand. Like Rach was saying, you don't want to run a giveaway, people will do like Kylie Jenner lip kit and a MacBook or something, like come over for the time frame you have. I think they're really effective.
I was curious about what Bath Pat does, because they're low,
Yeah, Bath Pat's a $5 brush.
yeah, so how do they work with influencers, or
So they
to make it worth it? for you?
Yeah, so they do a base pay. They are very generous. Any event I've ever done, they send me as many brushes as I want to give out to people. And then they also do a pretty good commission. They're also doing an incentive trip. They're going to take their top selling influencers on a trip next year. So they're coming up with creative ways to do it since it's a $5 brush. But you can sell a lot of a $5 brush.
How do you track the giveaways, like the entries and then randomly pick the winners?
So there's a couple different apps. Do you guys have any apps that you use? There's apps.
My gut.
Yeah, so honestly, yeah, sometimes it's close your eyes and scroll. Sometimes I love to put it off on the company I'm running it with. Like, I don't want to take care of it, I don't want to deal with it. But there is an app called Giveaway, I think, that I know a lot of people use. I got nervous personally about the app because it wanted to authenticate, it wanted to connect to my Instagram account, and I didn't like that. But I know there's different options. If you have a smaller amount of entries, random.org is what I used to use all the time, and you could just put one for however many numbers and pick out. But when you have like 20,000 entries, you can't go count out to the 18,000 one. So
Does that giveaway show you so if you say you gotta like it and follow and tag and it tracks if they actually did that?
you have to check. So what we do is we pick the winner and then we go through and make sure, are they following all the people that we require? Do they like the picture? So it's kind of a little bit backwards. You know what, one time I was doing a Disneyland giveaway with a couple of friends of mine, and it was this awesome giveaway. We were flying people out there, and the girl that we randomly picked didn't follow everyone. I'm like, oh my goodness. She'd entered, she tagged some people, but she didn't follow the rules. I was like, she probably has no clue she lost this massive trip because she didn't follow two more people. Like, it's too bad for her. Yes?
Easy Promos is an app that will track it all.
Easy promos, okay.
Easy Promos. And
Awesome.
It does Facebook, it does Instagram, and there's several other ones. You can run your email sign-ups. It has several different ways to run them, and it'll track it.
Yeah, great.
And then pick the one, and it picks the winner, and there's a place you can go to a website where they certify it.
Yeah. So for in that case, does the person who's entering have to go to a third location?
No, you can notify it. It's just that it just adds a certain amount of legitimacy. Like, they really did win. Like,
Yeah.
it just puts it on the website.
Okay, cool.
I have something. I stopped seeing giveaways work for us like 2 years ago. Maybe I'm the only one, I don't know. But I get more engagement of a quote than I do of a giveaway. True story. Because it's done. It's not novel anymore. And see, I'm very opposite than everyone else. If I were doing a product today, I wouldn't try to do DTC. It's tough. It's expensive. You guys heard, my Facebook budget? I don't think you guys have that kind of money to play around. And you're competing against me. We're talking almost $100,000 a month. You don't know what Jane's spending. I know their marketing budget. It's in the millions. Anyway, wholesaling, not bad, people. I know that we're digital, but I mean, she accepted a cool thing from Traeger because they're the cool kids, and they wholesale. It's so much faster. Retail still works. Brick and mortar still works. I do not fear Amazon. I fear Instagram. Instagram is what changed, what stopped you guys from going to the malls. But they're still coming. Fashion Plus just had the highest traffic out of the almost 10 years I've been there. I would hook up with the showroom somewhere in Atlanta, the gift marts, really get to know that market, but they may be able to grow you so much faster. You have a dedicated showroom working with you, and they're gonna see, I don't know if it's babies are us. They're gonna get you in the face of retailers much faster, perhaps, maybe, because I mean, they have success, so it still works. But you might be better off being served by a wholesale model. I don't know.
I have something to say about Jane kills it at this. giveaways with Jane. I'm always so excited when I get asked to do that. I believe, do you guys use Glean?
Yeah, I was just gonna
Okay, Freshly Pick's doing a Glean giveaway right now. They're my favorite. And I told Jane, they're like, okay, where do you want to grow? And I'm like, I'd love people to join my Facebook group. So here I have these Jane, and they send out this blast to, I don't even know how many people. And it says to enter, okay, go join Taylor Joelle's Facebook group. And maybe that's not the best approach because I really want those loyal people in my group, but I could say, it's a third-party site, it's on their website. So I've done it on my site, I've hosted one using Glean, and then I can send an email blast, and you team up with other shops. I don't like the teaming up with other shops on an Instagram post, but on a Glean giveaway, where everybody's talking about it on their story, everybody's emailing about it, that can produce mass growth with the things you really want to grow, like an email list. And then for extra entries, go like us on Instagram. And you guys kill it, like, please, ask me again. I'd love to do that.
Oh, do you guys have things? No.
We've gotten like 90,000 emails in one of those giveaways.
Glean, oh, okay.
It's like
Okay, I'm interested. You do one.
really, Glean is awesome.
They're amazing
It's building-
to find the people like you. Get them all together.
What is Glee?
It's a site. It's something that'll host a giveaway for you, and they have a really good blog and video tutorials and examples. But it's pretty much a giveaway that you can host on your website or your blog, and it has different ways people can enter. So I could get 1 point or entry. It's been a while since I've done one, but by adding my email list, and then or my email address. Then I can get another entry by following the people on Facebook. So I find it most successful. Jane does it one-on-one. Right? Am I explaining it right?
It'll it's on the back end and stuff.
Uh-huh.
It'll like track everything.
And like randomizer, you pick the winner, and then we do have to manually go through and like check that they did everything that they said that they did.
Yeah.
And
And
there's like
it's
enter giveaway professional. Like that's what they do.
you guys kill it too. I see so much growth. They require a big prize. They say I want $500 shop credit, so people will really want to. And that's a good thing with Glean is getting a bunch of shops together that are in the same category, because I don't want to team up with someone that. Yeah, and so I want people that are like me, so their quality email addresses, everything, and I love Glean. I want to do more of them. They're just a pain to organize. So if you guys are like me and you organize a Glean giveaway, I'd love to be.
Thank you. Okay, let's do 2 more questions and then we're wrapping up.
Oh,
Yeah, you
first,
can go
okay,
ahead.
sorry. Do any of you guys have experience with SEO? And if so, could you give some tips?
Probably have time.
I mean, you pay somebody else to do it. So we invested a lot of that years ago and then kind of came back to it earlier this year, and it really, just based on what our goals were, like CPC wasn't that successful because we were running against Hannah Anderson and Gibbery and Carter's, and the cost per acquisition was just way too high for us. So it was honestly like kind of a loss. I think it really depends on what your product is. For us, like baby dress is not super, we're still just not going to be high on the totem pole just based on what it would cost us to get there. So we did throw a little money at it, but I think there were money better spent elsewhere for us.
Jenna Kutcher has a podcast recently on SEO that's put in total simple terms because I don't understand it. And her podcast was amazing.
So
it
good.
was like so easy to understand on what you can do alone, a little bit each day to help your SEO.
But
Who
one
was that?
thing that
Jenna
I'll add to that, like
Jenna Kutcher.
we launched in Nordstrom 2.5 years ago, and then I ended up pulling out. And what was like one big massive takeaway is they were bidding on our branded terms, which means they were bidding on like rags and like rags romper and some of that. So that's now something that like we do for sure, just so other brands can come in and like bid against us, so we own those terms.
So I guess it's a quick follow-up. Do you guys create your own content, like blog posts or whatever, to just even get organic reach? I guess that's not even just paid and
so
organic.
either our team or we have contributors that we pay to do content for our blog and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, yes, probably. SEO is.
That's what I've been told. We don't do it.
It's clothing. It's tough.
Yeah, and it's really just depends on what your price point is and who you're competing against. Like for us, it was just, and like our most successful stuff was people searching June and January, and it's like we were paying, you know, like $2 a click for that, and it's like, well, they were probably gonna come to our site anyway, so I'm not gonna pay you for that. And it was just kind of like a money thing. We were paying like $400, it was not worth
I
it.
have a question. Did the people that worked in you guys' SEO, were they male or female?
Male, and that's another thing.
That's
we
a problem.
had 24-year-old guys writing content for us for our ads, and that's when we were like, yeah, we're not gonna do this.
Okay, can I just rent? Can you women just get up and get successful? Because we have a dearth of female talent in Utah. You guys laugh. Just wait till you get big and you start hiring.
I'm waiting for that.
It's a pain. It's a bro culture here.
Yes, very.
In fact, I
and we
sat
had
down with
our
JD,
service here,
the CEO Jake, and he's like, Viv, what the freak are you doing? You better hire that internally. And Utah, scam me. $4,000 a month for that contract. They do nothing. Then they blame you for, well, you didn't teach us, you didn't train us. I'm like, I told you. I move 300 SKUs every week, at least. You need to be there. You need to understand my product. That's not how it is in Utah. There's not a 24-year-old male that wants to know about baby stuff.
So who does yours?
I don't do SEO. It sucks because I'm against Nordstrom. I'm against Lulu's. And when we saw the cost, so many people have been unsuccessful, like Instagram, much cheaper and faster. One day we'll get to it. And it has to be long-winded. Like we have to sit there and go, oh, wait a second. You know, it's gonna be XYZ shoe. Okay, how is that woman gonna search for it? Booty with it, it's tough.
Our last straw was they ran an ad that said, "Right for your right to party," and I was like, yeah, you're fired. It's like they didn't even take the time to like look at your branding and look at your voice, and I was like, yeah, you got it. Literally right for your right to party. That was their like big thing. I was like,
yeah, no.
And that's why you don't do SEO.
Okay, let's have one last question here.
So I understand that you guys are kind of bigger than most of us, so maybe it's different for you, but if you're sort of
not.
smaller
There's so
brand,
many powerhouses in the room.
if you are a smaller brand doing some kind of collaboration with sort of a micro influencer, do you have a really formal contract, or like how does that legal piece work?
No,
Not
don't
for
do a
micro,
contract.
Oh, even still, you don't.
So for the people that we have on Impact, I think we have some sort of contract system. I don't honestly know. I think there's probably something for that. But for micro people, I mean, it's just like send it out, and it's a very lovey-dovey relationship. And honestly, like they were saying, like those people in the 2,000 to 5,000 range for us, they will sell more stuff than people. I mean, we did something with Caroline, who I love, but I mean, we can get Hello Baby Brown will sell 5 times as much stuff, and I think it's just about the engagement. It's the quantity over, or the quality over quantity kind of thing.
So you don't worry about like photo rights and stuff like that?
No, I think for the smaller people, they want to prove to you that they can be really successful and help you move product, because then they're going to get bigger and better opportunities from other brands that are bigger than ours, and you know they'll be working with Traeger in no time, kind of thing. So I think they want it to be successful just as much as you do. I mean, I don't think we've ever had anybody who was in that kind of micro range, especially that failed us, like that didn't deliver or that didn't, you know, live up to their terms. And they're generally like, if they're not, you know, delivering what they said they would, like a quick email, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, we'll take care of it right away. So.
Okay, thank you so much for coming. Oh, shoot.
Sorry, mine wasn't so much a question, but so I do a lot of marketing, and one of the tools that works really well for managing SEO in-house is SEO Rush. And so you can do your SEO, PPC. They've got different plans. I think the first one starts at $200 a month or maybe $100 a month, but there is a lot of advantage to starting to learn the basics of some of those tools because you know your brand best, you know what content you want to push out. And so SEO Rush is one that's for small businesses, like freelancers that start off, they've got good tutorials. And so I would recommend just at least starting with that before you look at outsourcing. And I've done both. I'm a VP of marketing for a software company, so I do work with an agency. We work with Big Leap here. But I have my own business as well, so I've done a lot. Had to do a lot of that on my own, and it's different when you're dealing with your own budget, your own cash, and stuff like that. So SEO Rush is a good one. And there's a couple other apps if you guys want to chat after as far as just tracking analytics on your site and seeing where people are falling off with your forms, with your carts and checkouts and stuff like that. There's a few pretty low-cost tools out there. So.
Yeah, thank you for those tips. I appreciate that. Okay, one last question, real quick.
Just to second what she said, because I do SEO also, so I think it's super important to understand those skills. And if you can find someone to do it in-house, I definitely think it's way more beneficial than working with an agency. I've done both. I prefer doing it in-house. SEMrush is a great tool I've heard of, and there's a lot of other really great ones that you can use when you're starting.
Awesome, thank you. Can we get a round of applause? And also, thank you to Jane so much. A round of applause for Jane. So thanks again for coming tonight. Keep in mind we're doing that giveaway on Instagram for the rest of the week, so participate in that. There is a help board over here if you haven't been explained about that, but you can post something you can help with or something that you need help with, and then we post it on Instagram so people can be able to reach out and be able to help with whatever you are facing right now in your business. And then feel free to check out our website because we have several more events this month. We actually have 3 more events this month that you can be able to come to, and they're really awesome. We put a lot of work into them, so please check those out. And that's it. Feel free to mingle and stay for a little bit and grab some cookies if you never did. But thanks again for coming tonight.